Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh and a very good morning to everyone. So this is my second video for subject fluid mechanics DMM 2533. In this second video, I will continue my lecture on chapter 4 and we will only have another one subtopic, one chapter which is chapter 5 fluid friction in order to complete our CO2 topics. Alright, let's start. In this chapter 4, I will introduce the basic concept of flow rate and also velocity measurement. We will also learn about the pitot and pitot static props, and I will introduce several devices that have been developed over the years for the purpose of flow metering. Right. So, flow rate and velocity measurement. Like I already told you before, the application area of fluid mechanics is to determine the flow rate of fluids. Okay. Thus, numerous devices have been developed for flow metering. That is why in this chapter, it is actually a very short chapter and it's just an introduction, and you will also learn the basic concept of these devices. Okay, we will overview the meters measuring flow rate of liquids and gases flowing through pipes or ducts. And please be noted that all discussions are limited to incompressible flow. So, do you guys still remember about incompressible flow? Okay, actually, incompressible flow question came out during the midterm examination, but surprisingly, only half of you can answer it correctly. So let's recap on incompressible flow. Recap for incompressible flow. Okay, we actually already learned this in several chapters, previous chapters. What is the meaning, the definition of the incompressible flow? Okay, so the conservation of mass relation is simplified even further when the fluid is incompressible. Okay, means it is in constant density. Okay, so of course, whenever the density is constant, you just have to cancel density for both sides of equation. So we have equation for flow rate here, m dot equal to rho avg times AC. Then just cancel both sides of rho, both sides of density. We will obtain this equation. Okay, v dot in equal to v dot out. So for steady incompressible flow involve a single stream, uh, which means we only have one inlet and one outlet. Okay, so v dot 1 equal to v dot 2 equivalent to v1a1 equal to v2a2. So you have to answer like this in midterm examination in order for you guys to get full marks. Okay. Alright, now we already recap on incompressible flow. Okay, so now most flow meters that we are going to learn in this chapter measure the flow rate. Okay, so flow rate means volume flow rate. Okay, we already learned just now the volume flow rate equation for steady incompressible flow equal to V dot equal to V times with AC. Please take note that V here is average velocity and AC is the cross-sectional area of flow. Okay, so we have to determine these two parameters because only these two parameters will affect the value of the volume flow rate. Alright, so now in a pipe, okay, velocity varies from zero at the wall to maximum at the center. Okay, for example, this schematic figure, we have one pipe and then we have a flow flowing inside the pipe. Okay, so meaning of varies from zero at the wall means we have two walls here, up and down. Okay, so the velocity of the flow on the pipe wall is actually zero, and then gradually it become maximum at the center of the wall. Okay, so this is one example of flow in the pipe, and it's a very good example of a laminar flow. So in order for us to calculate the volume flow rate V dot here, so we have to determine the average velocity and also the cross-sectional area. Okay, now For laminar flow, how to determine the velocity average, okay, average velocity? So we have to take half of the center line velocity, okay, because it is maximum at the center, then the maximum velocity divided by 2, we will get the average velocity of laminar flow for this particular pipe. Okay, how about turbulent flow? Okay, in turbulent flow, at every point in the pipe, actually the velocity is different because it is turbulence. Okay, so how we determine the average velocity for turbulent flow? So we have to take measurement. Okay, we have to determine several local velocity. Means we need to determine velocity here, and then velocity here, velocity at this point, velocity at this point in the pipe. So we take average of these velocities, of these local velocities. That is why in my research, for example, wind tunnel experiment, we have to take lots of lateral and also streamwise measurement points in order for us to get one representative of velocity. And this one representative of velocity is actually equal to the average velocity. Okay. Of course, for unsteady flow and also incompressible flow, it is very important for you to get this as much as local velocity values in order to determine one average velocity. Alright. So now, let's see on pitot and pitot static probes. Okay. This is one of the device to measure, okay, that is widely used for flow speed measurement, okay, to get the velocity of a flow. Okay, so pitot and pitot static probes is actually named after a French engineer, Henri de Pitot. So we have two types of pitot. Okay, one is pitot probe and another one is pitot static probe. Okay, see here the difference between pitot probe and pitot static probe. Okay, we have stagnation pressure calculated here, but then in pitot static probe we have two point, stagnation pressure and also static pressure. Means that in pitot static probe they can calculate both of these pressures, stagnation and static pressures. Meanwhile, for pitot probe only can measure the stagnation pressure. Okay, let's see a little bit more about pitot static probe. Okay, so pitot static probes measures local velocity by measuring the pressure difference in conjunction with Bernoulli's equation. Okay, in order to get the local velocity value by using pitot static probes, is actually by measuring the pressure difference. Okay, so in pitot static probes, it consists of slender double tube. Okay, we have two tube here. The inner tube is fully open to flow at the nose. Okay, so here it is open. Thus, measure the stagnation pressures at that location. Okay, denoted with P1. Okay, outer tube here with two holes at the outer wall. Thus, measure the static pressure P2, denoted with P2. For incompressible flow with high velocity, means that frictional effects between point 1 and point 2 can be neglected. Thus, the Bernoulli's equation is expressed as below. Okay, you already learned how to derive Bernoulli's equation. So, I don't want to explain again about Bernoulli's equation. You can refer to my previous video of Bernoulli. Alright. So now, using pitot static probes, we can actually derive the velocity value, okay, by using this formula. V equal to 2 times with P1 minus P2 divided by density. Okay. When velocity is measured at the location where local velocity, means that it is equal to the average velocity. Okay. So now the volume flow rate V dot equal to V times with AC. V here is determined by this formula using Pitot formula. Okay, so we can determine the volume flow rate using Pitot static props. Alright, so this is one of the close-up picture of Pitot static prop. Here you can see one opening at the nose and also one opening at the outer wall. One thing about Pitot static prop, it is a simple device. It is inexpensive. Okay? It's very less in cost. Okay? And highly reliable device since it has no moving parts. It also causes very small pressure drop and usually does not disturb the flow. Okay? However, it is important that whenever you place a pitot static prop for example, in a wind tunnel, it should be aligned with the flow. I mean, the nose should be aligned with the flow to avoid significant errors and that might be caused by misalignment. Okay, so that is a little bit about Pitot static props. Okay, let's move on to the second device to determine the volume flow rate. Okay, please take note that currently we are talking about incompressible steady flow. So we will be using equations of incompressible steady flow. Alright, so the second device to determine the volume flow rate is called obstruction flow meters. So I will now explain on the concept of the obstruction flow meters. There are several types of obstruction flow meters which we will learn after this. Okay, so this is the concept of the obstruction flow meters. So let's consider a pipe, a horizontal pipe with diameter D. Okay, however, inside the a horizontal pipe, inside the pipe, we have obstruction part. Okay, so we have 2 point. Okay, part 1, point 1 or point 2. Point 1 is where the flow before the obstruction part, before the obstruction is located. Okay, and then point 2 is where the obstruction is located. So we call point 1 as before the constriction, and then point 2 as the where the constriction occurs. So now we already learned the mass balance equation for steady incompressible flow. V dot equal to V1A1 equal to V2A2. So from this equation and following this obstruction flow meters, we can simplify this equation to V1 equal to D over D squared V2. Okay, D over D is actually the diameter ratio. We can denote this parameter with beta. Okay, beta D over D is the diameter ratio. So now, by using this equation, okay, we can actually calculate V2, okay, by using the pressure difference between point 1 and point 2. Okay, once beta is known, okay, beta, the ratio of the diameter, and also we know the pressure difference between these 2 points before and where the constriction occurs, we can calculate V2. Okay, so now the volume flow rate with no loss, okay, means no loss here means we consider that we will obtain the maximum velocity at this point 2, where there is no pressure losses due to frictional effects. Okay, so it is expected once you see this figure, it is expected that at point 2 the volume, the velocity of the flow is accelerated compared to point 1. Okay, so now V dot, okay, the volume flow rate equation becomes V dot equal to A2V2 equal to pi D squared over 4 V2. Okay, you can just calculate the volume flow rate of this pipe, okay, using the concept of obstruction. Okay, so V2 here is the average velocity, okay, that we are talking before. So now you already determine the volume flow rate of this pipe. Alright, so now Above analysis shows that flow rate through a pipe can be determined by constricting the flow and measuring the decrease in pressure due to the increase in velocity at the constriction side. Okay, so this concept is actually the concept of obstruction flow meters. So using this concept, we will learn about several devices, several types of obstruction flow meters later on. Okay, so we can actually calculate the flow rate due to the decrease in pressure, decrease in pressure at point 2 due to the accelerated velocity at this point. Alright. So above equation is obtained, as I already informed just now, is obtained by assuming no loss, means that we will obtain the maximum velocity that can occur at the constriction site. Okay, because the pressure here is low, so the velocity is accelerated. So we consider the velocity at this point is maximum. However, in reality, some pressure losses due to frictional effects, thus velocity is less. Okay, thus discharge coefficient CD is considered. Gives the flow rate for obstruction flow meters as, so this equation, okay, the from V2 you will you need to consider CD, discharge coefficient, and you will obtain this equation. Okay, so V dot equal to A0 CD 2P1 minus P2 over density rho times with 1 minus beta the power of 4. Okay, so now, so this is the equation for the obstruction flow meters. If we consider the frictional effects, if we are not if we don't consider any frictional effects with no loss, so you can use this equation. So whenever in the exam, they will state, okay, either it is have loss or no loss. Alright. So these are the one of the type of obstruction flow meters called orifice flow meters. Okay, the same concept, and you can calculate the volume flow rate. However, for this type of flow meters, we assume or we consider there is a loss. So the we have to consider the discharge coefficient. So the discharge coefficient for orifice meter is written in this equation. Okay. So just use this CD and then insert in this equation. Okay. And then we also have another obstruction flow meters called nozzle meters. So for nozzle meters, it is as shown in this schematic figure, and the discharge coefficient is written in this equation. So just use this equation and then insert in this equation of volume flow rate using obstruction flow meters, considering the discharge coefficient. Okay. The other one is the venturi meters. I believe some of you already heard. I mean, usually heard about venturi meters. Okay. This is because this venturi meters is the most accurate flow meter because of low frictional and heat losses. Okay. Low frictional and heat losses, about 10%. However, it is the most expensive flow meter, and the discharge coefficient CD is already calculated. It is around 0.95 to 0.99. Okay, so that's all for chapter 4. We already learned about on the recap of steady incompressible flow, and we also learned about several devices to determine the volume flow rate. And then those devices that we already learned is pitot and pitot static props, and then we learned about obstruction flow meters. Okay, maybe in final exam you will asked to explain about, for example, about the concept of obstruction flow meters, for example. Okay, I don't know. All right. So I'll see you guys in the next video for chapter 5.